And I see it's gone to some astrology. Well, baby, I can see your face.
Alrighty, welcome back to I Am Reminiscent. I'm here as your host. All right, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. All right, welcome to I Am Reminiscent, where astrology meets intuition. And we're going to take a deep dive into the stars, specifically talking about Venus retrograde. Venus will be retrograding March 1st in Aries, going back into Pisces. So I figured this is a good time to get ahead of that. This is going to be kind of like a part one, and then I'm going to actually get it specifically into that retrograde in a part two video. So let's dig into just the Venus retrograde right now. I got some notes here to keep me from wandering, ADHD and all. All right. So we'll be getting an understanding of the retrograde energy and how to navigate it, as well as highlighting the importance of Venus in astrology, what she means, and why her retrogrades, how they affect us. All right. So number one, we'll be getting into what is Venus retrograde. All right. So Venus retrograde, again, simple illusion, astronomically speaking. The planet Venus gets as close to Earth as it possibly can, and then it slows down. But because on Earth we're still moving, it looks like it stopped completely and we're still moving. But it just slowed down. And because it's the closest it can get to Earth, its energy is the most loud. It's a loud frequency we can feel. So this might be a rush to get back into things that we once loved or once admired or once valued. Okay. Now, Venus retrograde happens every 18 months. Okay. This is not an annual thing, it's every year and a half. And it lasts about between 40 to 45 days, give or take. Now, Venus, astrologically speaking, rules over love, self worth, aesthetics, our value system. Okay, material as well, because Venus rules both Libra and Taurus in astrology. So, and Venus goes by many names. Okay, Venus, Aphrodite, Oshun, Freya, they all go back to connecting to that same energy of, sexuality, fertility, and using magic in that way to create new things. Okay. Let's get into some themes of Venus retrograde. Relationships, self-love and worth, finances and material possessions, and then aesthetic and beauty routines. All right. So during Venus retrograde, relationships, old flames will return. Okay. It's worse than the Mercury and probably worse than the Mercury and Mars retrogrades. Okay. Exes will reappear to resolve some type of relationship issues, of course. Some challenges in the current relationship can occur where there can be a breakdown in communication, Libra, air. The values can suddenly shift or change. You may see things or feel things differently, or feel like you have different needs in your relationship that are not currently being met. Some people break up, divorce, all types of stuff during the Venus retrograde. So self love and self worth, we get to reflect on our personal value system and esteem, which is how it can, trickle down to a romantic relationship breaking up. But we want to reflect on our personal value system, like how we value ourselves and how we feel about ourselves, how I feel about ourselves, part of our self esteem. So, how are we working to increase that? Is what Venus retrograde gives us a chance to do, is increase that. And the importance of realigning with authentic desires, what we truly want to create in our lives. We're going to start aligning to that and letting go of things that no longer serve us, in our value system, our self-esteem, or our desires. Finances and material possessions. So Venus retrograde, we want to be very careful about spending that monies. Okay, this is a perfect time to invest in saving your coins, bargain shopping, having a budget, adulting so we can have automatic payments. All right. So there's some caution around impulsive purchases or investments. And this is an opportunity for us to reassess our financial responsibilities and priorities. Sometimes you might have to cut out the Starbucks because we complaining we can't afford a necessity. Starbucks is not a necessity. I know a lot of people have come to the, idea that having a Starbucks coffee every day is a necessity, but it's really not. It's just they put that, that white CRACK in it, and which we all know is sugar, and made it addictive. Caffeine is also an addiction, so be careful with that. All right. So reassessing our financial priorities could also mean, putting our needs first and cutting off some people who are not valid contributors, but more so great takers of our time, energy, money, and maybe self-respect. It's a good time to take our self-respect back in the form of finances and material. Okay, this can even be put into your career or your job, because this is tied to how we make money. How do you feel like you're being valued in the place that you work? Do you need to sit down and have a professional discussion about your values and how much you're being paid? If you feel like you should increase, you want to talk about increasing your pay, or do you want to start looking into the career field you truly wish to go in and how you can make that transition happen in a very smooth way? Do you have enough savings in order to make that transition? Have you been saving already, just in case, you know, you want to take that money and invest, or to cover yourself? These are some financial questions you may be looking into or may come up. Okay. I can also see this as some old debts or bills may resurface. Okay. So next, we're going to get into aesthetic and beauty routines. Okay. So Venus retrograde is not the best time to do any cosmetic changes. Haircuts, tattoos, piercings, anything that has to do with your beauty, your being aesthetically pleasing. You may want to avoid major changes. Haircuts, hairdos, like completely changing your hair up. You may want to put more into taking care of what you already have. I wouldn't even include your clothing, investing into taking care of your clothing that you already have. So instead of throwing things away that you really like, not throwing things away, I would even say getting rid of clothes you don't wear, donating them to charity, or giving them away to someone who could use them, as well as taking a little bit more time when it comes to washing your clothes, and like fabric softener, taking it to the actual cleaners instead of throwing it in a washing machine, that type of deal, things of that nature. Actually hanging your clothes up that needs to be hung up, like taking care of the things you already have. Also, learning how to embrace your natural beauty and the inner glow you already have with yourself. Okay. There may be some days where you may not have enough time to do your makeup. Are you going to sit around feeling like you're ugly because you don't have makeup on? There might be some days where you don't have the best hair day, or your hair didn't get done the way that you wanted to, especially if you're trying to do something brand new and it goes awry. You're still beautiful as you are. And that's something Venus retrograde is going to force people to tap into as well. Embracing the natural beauty that you have. And there's going to be a lot of criticism for other people in the fashion game, or celebrities may get some harsh statements on stuff that they, wear as well. So let's get into navigating Venus retrograde. Some of the do's. You do want to reflect on your past relationships and the patterns that exist in those relationships, because it's a direct reflection on how you respect yourself, how you deal with challenging situations that deal with your dignity and your self-esteem. You want to also look at the type of people that you are agreeing, not so much 11:11 on the clock, not so much what you're attracting, because you can attract an array of different people. People who are on the same level as you in one way or another, or people who just want you and desire you, and that's it. You want to be able to distinguish between the two. And from that point, when you engage with these relationships, look at the pattern between, how you're engaging with them. Are you lowering your values for a relationship, or are you playing games and making it harder for someone to get to know you to the point where they kind of just walk away? Revisit creative projects or hobbies. Okay, Venus is connected to art, and that art can be painting, musicianship, okay, architecture, occult arts, making videos or taking pictures, creating clothing. Like, there are so many different projects and hobbies that we may want to, even if it's just coloring in a coloring book. There's going to be a lot of hobbies that we may want to revisit and get and tap back into during the Venus retrograde, to help us relieve some stress and get back into feeling good. Okay, Venus is about feeling good. You want to also journal, meditate, and create and reconnect with your inner value system. And during the retrograde Venus, your value system can definitely be altered due to some changes that are taking place in your life. But just because you may lose something or someone goes away doesn't mean that your value is lowered. If anything, that's the time to heighten it and strengthen it the most. All right, some don'ts. Some don'ts. Don't start any new relationships or make any major financial decisions during a Venus retrograde. Do not start any new relationships or make any new financial decisions, major financial decisions. Okay. This could be buying a house, buying a car, purchasing land. Okay. Anything, I feel like anything that's a few hundred to thousands, millions of dollars. You may want to avoid that. Look at the details a lot, like closer, a lot closer than you normally would, and review it. You don't have to stop your life whenever we have a retrograde, but you do want to be careful. Not sorry. Refrain from drastic changes to your appearance. Okay. Avoid doing anything like emphasis on haircuts. Like, major emphasis, especially if your Venus ruled. Don't try no haircuts, please. No hair dyes, please. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, you want to like your hair for the first time? Okay, that's cool. Wait till after Venus retrograde, because you might change your mind. Okay. Some practical tips. You can use Oracle or Tarot for introspection. Work on some affirmations for self healing and self worth, self esteem, like raising your vibration when it comes to love, money, beauty, and respect, self respect. Okay, so, like I was saying, at the recording of this, Venus will retrograde in Aries March 1st, 2025, and go back to Pisces. The most signs that are affected when any Venus retrograde happens, number one is going to be Venus ruled signs, Libra and Taurus. Venus, if Venus is your chart ruler, you would definitely feel it very heavy as well. Or if you have a lot of planets in a Venus ruled sign, you will feel it the most. Fire signs, this is a good opportunity to slow down, go within. Okay, fire is naturally masculine dominant energy, which is all about action. With Venus, you have to kind of let go of the control or the need to take action and kind of like sit with yourself, tune deeper into your divine feminine energy. Earth is a feminine energy, so this is about reassessing your stability within relationships. Okay, that's Earth is all about stability. Air signs, this is an opportunity to clarify the communication within the relationships or partnerships that you have, making sure that you understand them clearly and they understand you clearly. And if there's ever any conflict, be quick to resolve them as gently and gracefully as you can. Okay. Water signs, this is a deeply emotional healing time for you when Venus goes retrograde. So, because you're already a very feminine energy, so you can be extremely sensitive, and you can bring out the extreme sensitivity in others. So, be advised. Okay, so we did go over, the Venus retrograde is when the planet Venus gets as close to Earth as possible, starts to slow down, but it looks like it's moving backwards. But Venus rules over love, self-worth, aesthetics, and material values. And whenever it retrogrades, it's a time for us to reassess, recalibrate, and look for potential challenges and take them on when it comes to those Venus dominant areas. During this time, we may need to recalibrate and reevaluate our relationships, our self love and self worth and self respect. Be careful with our finances and material possessions, and highlight some aesthetic or beauty routines. We'll definitely be reflecting on previous relationships, and revisit some old flames or projects, and get into journaling, meditation, or some arts to help us with raising the value that we feel within ourselves. We definitely want to avoid any new relationships, any major financial purchases, as well as refraining from drastically changing our physical appearance. This will be a great opportunity to tap into our priest or priestess energy using our divine feminine energy to either read cards, or if you read bones, read water, read candles. Like, this will be a great time to tap into that energy, as Freya or even Oshun are energies that deal with fertility, creating things. And in order for us to create something new, we have to be tuned into our energy to manifest and create our sensuality, our sexuality. Okay. So we can do that by ourselves. We don't need anyone else but us in spirit. During Venus retrogrades, the most effective energies or signs is going to be Libra and Taurus. Fire needs to slow down. Earth will reassess stability. Air will clarify communications, and water will have deeply emotional healing time. If you are naturally, if in your natal chart you have Venus retrograde, this is going to be an easier time for you than most. But definitely review your previous Venus retrograde experiences and find the pattern or commonality in all of them between you and the relationship that you have. All right, I invite you guys to go ahead and follow or subscribe to my channel. You can find me on social media as well with I Am Luminescent. If you're looking for a reading, a personal reading for your Venus sign, or how Venus shows up in your chart, or what effects will this coming up Venus retrograde have for you, you can log on to my website at luminescent.com and book your personal reading. Venus retrograde is a time for us to heal, reflect, and realign with our true values, and trust the process and allow for transformation to actually occur so we can be guided to the life that we truly value, which already lives within us. All right. So, the next video, I will get into the retrograde, Venus retrograde is coming up March 1st, 2025. But here is where it all ends for me. So thank you for stopping by. I'm Luminescent today. Remember, the universe is always guiding you. All right. So stay aligned, stay radiant, and see you next time. Peace.